Hey guys, day number 2 off for me this week. That's very rare for me, as you've probably already noticed. I don't do this often, but I do it for good reason. This week is my second day that I've been needed, where I'm most needed, and that's supporting someone in my family. And I think we all can agree that supporting the ones that we love is very important, and for them to feel our support and our love is very important to them. So that's what I'm doing today, but I'm also working, here and there and trying to keep up with all the other responsibilities. But as always, I want to talk with you guys too, because that's important for me. That's fulfilling for me, but also hopefully you guys gain a little bit from it as well. So, I'm thinking about how difficult it is actually for me to be away from work and from my responsibilities, and it got me thinking about some of the pressures that you guys feel, and some conversations that I've had with some of you about the pressures that you feel, or the people that you feel responsible to or responsible for. And I have a very simple message that hopefully you can hear, because it took me a long time to understand this message, because I've always felt this need for, everything and everyone else above my needs. But really, for you guys at this stage of your life and in your circumstances at this point, really the focus is on you and the work that you can do with yourself to build you into the person that you want to be, so you can be that person for others, whether it be your parents, your caregivers, your grandparents, your guardians, whoever, your community, your schools, all of those things. It starts right here. It starts with you. And I tell my own kids this too, because they feel, the same types of pressures. And it really is that simple. And the problem with that, though, as simple as that is, the hardest thing to do, especially at your age, the hardest thing to do is to look inside of ourselves and realize areas where we need to make changes, or we need to break the cycle. That's a difficult thing for us to realize, because we might not actually see the need yet. But if you're listening to this video right now, something has gone on in your story where you are here, whether it's attending school in the Monarch Academy and things didn't work out with school, or you got in some type of situation that has you going to school there, or if you're, detained in detention. Something happened, and whether that's a combination of you and your circumstances, or poor choices that you made, or something, it hopefully has focused you in on the need to examine you. And it is that simple, but it's a hard process. I get it. Self-examination. It's not criticizing ourselves. It's challenging ourselves. It's recognizing areas where, man, I just keep getting in these arguments and over and over and over and over again with all of these people, these teachers, my parents, my grandparents, my foster parents, staff here. In all of those situations, what's the same thing? What's the constant thing? It's you, right? They usually call that the common denominator. In all of those situations, what is or who is the common denominator? And I found myself in that position. I've had to adjust as a director, or as a boss, a board president, all kinds of things. In my positions of leadership, I've had to, if I'm not meeting the needs, or I'm just constantly finding myself not getting a message across clearly, or maybe people are dissatisfied, I have to take some steps back and I have to look at myself. It's been hard, man, and I've actually done that recently in this role, and I'm not gonna lie to you, it's challenging, it's humbling, and it really takes you back a step. But it's okay. That's okay. That's what life is. We can't go through life thinking that every day we are just, what do they say? What do you guys usually say? The ish. Who can't think that all the time, right? Can't think that we're the ish, because maybe that's an old term. Man, you guys gotta, if that's an old term, when you see me, you better give me the new term. Like, what is it when you think you're just all that and you got nothing to work on? You're a perfect person. There are no perfect people, and that's reality. So yeah, that's, I'm thinking about like the responsibilities that I have, which I appreciate. Like, I really do appreciate that. And I hope that you guys become able to appreciate too. You have this awesome ability to affect people, whether you believe that or not, whether you feel ignored, whether you feel like you're under a microscope. You're affecting people every day with your behavior, with your interactions, whether or not it could be something, very simple. We all know because you guys have experienced it yourself. Maybe a smile, maybe a nice word, maybe a compliment on somebody's shoes or something could change their entire day. And that's a big deal. So it's a big deal to me, certainly. I know that from personal experience, but hopefully you guys have experienced that also. So yeah, all the pressures that I've heard from you guys, that you feel you have to prove things to the court and your POs, and you think you're not moving the needle. Like we always say, you're the author of that story. You're making it through your behaviors. I just talked to a PO this morning that said, I really don't necessarily even need to talk to anybody. I can read these reports and understand that this kid's made a lot of changes. That's great, because that really, all that means is that that kid, I won't name who it is, but that kid has put in the work, made the changes, all of those facts came out, and that PO got it on the other end and said, I don't need to read anymore. I'm good. Like that's great news. So it starts with you. And that's a very basic message. Man, I'm rambling. I miss you guys. I think that's what it is. 6 minutes. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. It starts with you. It starts with us. And it starts with us because without us, what happens? The cycle continues, right? If we don't step in and break that cycle, those bad habits, those bad choices, the generational things. If you guys know what generational means, that means, my parents and the parents, my grandparents and my great grandparents and all the parents that came before them have fashioned different patterns, whether it be biologically or through behaviors or teachings or just their behaviors. That comes to us. And so that's breaking the cycle, is when we decide, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go a different path. It starts with us. Break that cycle. Be the one. Be the leader. Be you. See you guys.